Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Pretty much the best news that I've heard this entire offseason. I mean, the best thing that could have popped up across my news feed, across my timeline, whatever you want to call it. Eli Manning with Peyton Manning will be hosting Monday Night Football for ESPN. Not on ESPN, regular ESPN, but on ESPN2 and possibly ESPN Plus. They will be hosting 8 to 10 Monday Night Football games. There's going to be a lot of guests that are going to come on, like, former NFL players, celebrities, ton of different people that are going to come on there. And that is going to be a simulcast for ESPN. And I just can't see myself watching anything but Eli and Peyton's broadcast. I just can't see myself looking at regular ESPN and their boring commentators. They've been dealing with a ton of just awful commentating. I mean, I think Jason Witten was on there a couple of years ago when he was retired for that year. He was on there and he was horrible. I mean, Jason Witten I liked as a player, just not when he was playing against us and not as a Cowboy, I wanted him to win. But I liked his game as a player. He was a solid guy. But as far as commentating, no, he was not good at that. They had Booger McFarland on there. He was pretty much the only entertaining guy when he was on that little, I guess you call it a booger mobile or whatever he was in, that stand that he was on, blocking fans' views of the game. That was a mess. And then I think they moved him into the booth. I can't remember if they did it last year, if they plan to do it this upcoming year. But he's been pretty much the only guy that's any kind of entertaining. And even he sometimes just pretty much drops the ball. So to have Eli and Peyton, both have been on Saturday Night Live. Both have had their own little skits here and there. Both have shown they have a sense of humor. Peyton he did Detail, same thing that Kobe did a couple of years ago. Detail, where he was kind of breaking down young quarterbacks' games, breaking down the defenses, and I would say that was really interesting to see someone who's one of the more cerebral players of all time. Probably the most cerebral player in the NFL of all time, breaking down tape for the public to see. That was on ESPN Plus. I think I got to see a couple of those just, floating around. But I think that's an interesting concept to have Peyton doing Detail. And Eli, we've never really seen do Detail, but Eli, along with Peyton, along with most other, Hall of Fame quarterbacks, they're film gurus, they're film junkies. Eli Manning, he's famous for at the end of every single season, he would go back and watch every single play, break down every single play from the season that he just played in. So that means that, in 2018, his last full season as a starter, he went through week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 17 and broke down every game, every play, wrote down every mistake that he made and how he could fix it. We all know he has pretty much a legendary work ethic, going back to the fact that he never got injured. You don't do that by accident. You do that with a lot of hard work on your body, a lot of, preparation and making sure that you can keep your body going, the full season. So those two together, first of all, is a ton of football knowledge, more football knowledge than most of us can ever think of grasping or observing anything. It's just a ton of knowledge there. And then on top of that, they both have senses of humor. And then on top of that, they're brothers. They're brothers, and they're in the royal Manning family. And it should be interesting to watch them go back and forth. And I'm sure they'll have jokes at each other. But my point is this, and I saw Bobby Skinner tweeted about this over at Talking Giants. My thing is this going to be an actual broadcast, or is this going to be like literal joke after joke, just a comedy routine that they'll be having for this upcoming season every single week, or the 8 to 10 weeks? Is this just going to be a comedy show, or is it going to be a broadcast, a normal broadcast, where they just throw in their occasional jabs at each other and occasional jabs at the celebrities? I'm interested to see what kind of celebrities they're going to have on there. I'm interested to see if they'll have, you know, which players. Maybe they'll have some of the, you know, your Jeff Saturdays or Sean O'Hara's or Chris Snead's. Is it going to be just their former teammates? Or we're going to see some people like Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed, those kind of guys? Is it going to be, you know, guys from the 80s, 70s? Who knows? But I cannot wait to see that broadcast. And if it's palatable at all, meaning that if it's just not all jokes to where it takes away from me being able to even focus on the game, I'll watch it. Even if I can't focus on the game, I still probably will watch it because those guys are just so entertaining. And the other broadcast is just unbearable sometimes. So I definitely think that I will be lining up to see it. If it's on ESPN Plus, they have got to bolster that subscription over there, because a ton of times, every time I've looked at getting ESPN Plus, it's been for only one show or one segment. And to me, that's not worth getting an entire package. But maybe if it's over 8 to 10 weeks, people start to look over at ESPN Plus and say, maybe I should go ahead and, you know, get a subscription over here. But Eli, Peyton, that's the most legendary family. This has to be, I mean, can you think of any other commentating duo that is this legendary? I mean, you have to probably look into the WWE, JR and Jerry the King Lawler or something like that, because I can't think of an NFL duo. I mean, of course you have your actual reputable commentators like John Madden and Chris Collinsworth and all these guys and Marv Albert, all of these legendary actual commentators that take the game serious and actually make it entertaining at the same time. But as far as like entertainment value, it's literally like getting Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, or I don't know if that's a good comparison, but it's like getting two NBA all-time greats who are also brothers, who are also incredibly entertaining to just commentate things. Like maybe like getting Giannis and Joel Embiid or something, even though they're not brothers, but those are two funny players to like commentate over an entire season. So I can't wait to see how this turns out. I can't wait to see if it's actually serious, because if it's actually serious, then they should just become the main commentators. There's no reason to watch the other broadcasts because they know more about football. I'm sorry, I don't care who's over on that other network, on ESPN regular. They know more about football than any of those guys. You're not going to get anybody over there that knows more football than Peyton and Eli put together. Of course, there's no guy who's been a play-by-play caller, so I'm sure maybe the play-by-play is going to suffer a little bit. But if they just go heavy analysis, I probably will lean more towards that. There's always a lot more to learn about football, and I think definitely from the quarterback position, that'll be must-see TV if they go heavy analysis. So you guys let me know what you're expecting. First, let me know if you're excited about this, which I know, of course, you are. But second, what are you expecting from this? Are you expecting this to be just a big joke, or they're just making fun of everything and having fun? Or do you expect this to be actual heavy analysis, or do you expect it to be somewhere in the middle? That's kind of what I'm expecting. But again, we don't have a play-by-play guy. Maybe if there was a third guy who was a professional play-by-play, it would be maybe a little bit better. But we'll see how this turns out. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.